Hello folks, Everchanger here, and welcome back to more Pokemon Blaze Black 2. Last time we spent quite a bit of time here in Castelia capturing Pokemon, and this time I think we're just going to keep doing that. I'd really like to get as many Pokemon as I can under our belt before we move onwards, mainly because if we don't do it now, we will have to do it later, and it will take a very long time. So I think if we just stay on top of things, we're going to be good. And man, I used up a lot of provisions last episode. Wowee. Alright, I'm going to restock a bunch of my Pokeballs, and something that I haven't done yet, but will today, is I'm going to buy some repels. And that is because we have to go back into the sewers, because today we are going to be covering the Pokemon that you can find in the Relic Passage. And that will introduce us to a bit of a new phenomenon that I'm not sure if we've seen yet. We might have seen it, but if we have seen it, we've only seen it once. I'm talking about the dust cloud phenomenon, which is basically shaking grass but in caves. And basically, if we wind up in a situation where all that is left are dust cloud Pokemon, of which there are 4 I would like to capture today, then it would be pretty tragic to have to deal with the other encounters as well. Now, where is the repel that I just bought? Because I don't want to encounter anything here in the sewers. Here it is. Alrighty. We actually own every single Pokemon we can possibly obtain in the sewers at this point, so I don't think it's really worth dealing with the wild encounters at this stage. Now, here is the Relic Passage. We've been in here before, but we didn't actually catch any Pokemon here, I don't think. We might have caught 1. But anyway, there are 7 Pokemon we can find through walking, and 4 additional Pokemon that we can find through dust clouds. So, I'm going to run around until my repel wears off, and then I will meet you when we encounter the first Pokemon we're going to catch. Ooh, could it be in here? Yes indeed, this is Onix, one of the Pokemon that we do not yet have. The nice thing about the Dust Cloud Pokemon in this area is that none of them are too terribly rare. The rarest Pokemon in the Dust Cloud has a 20% encounter rate, so I have a feeling that this episode is going to be pretty easy as we go about trying to catch the 11 Pokemon that we can find in this area. So I'll meet you guys back once we've caught this Onix. Very nice. Onix was caught. That wasn't too terribly painful, considering it's an Onix, and I usually have a little trouble catching these things. Opening its large mouth, it ingests massive amounts of soil and creates long tunnels. Rock Pokemon are just so bizarre. Like, rocks don't sound like they taste very good. Ooh, another dust cloud. I'm not going to use the repel. Let's see if we can get lucky. Oh-ho! We actually got an item, a blue shard. In the dust clouds you can find shards, and you can also find these things called gems, which can be used to strengthen the power of certain types of moves. And I think in special areas, you can also find evolution stones, which is pretty neat. Now, of course, as I'm wandering around here, we find probably the one Pokemon in this area that I already own, so I'll meet you back when we find something I don't own. Aha, here's one, Roggenrola. I have no idea why, but they decided to let Ash have one of these things in the anime, and I don't remember it actually doing all that much. Now, the nice thing about Roggenrola is it pretty much, I'm pretty sure, is guaranteed to have Sturdy. So let's just make our lives a little bit easier and smack the heck out of this thing, because Sturdy got buffed in Generation 5 and it will survive any one-shot. And they were so proud of this incredibly annoying buff that they decided to give it to a lot of Pokemon that you find in the game, just so you'd never forget that they buffed it. And of course, it's taken this long, but finally, in our 4th mass catching episode, we finally get a critical capture that works. The hexagonal-shaped hole is its ear. It has a tendency to walk in the direction the sound is coming from. Interesting stuff. I really like Roggenrola as a Pokemon because it evolves into something quite awesome. But of course, since it's a trait evolution, Ash never got it, so again, dropped potential. Aha, and here's another one right off the bat. Rhyhorn is another Pokemon we don't have. We're making good progress right here. I'm really happy about that. Normally I try and catch closer to 15 Pokemon this episode, but 11 Pokemon is how many we have to find in the Relic Passage, and if we move to another area, pretty much every other area we have to go to at this point has another 11 to 15 Pokemon that we need to catch in it, so I think we're going to have this episode and then 4 more episodes of mass catching after this for all the areas we've yet to visit, because quite a few of the areas we pretty much have to catch all of the Pokemon in them, which could take a while. Anyway, caught Rhyhorn, which is very nice and quick. Its powerful tackles can destroy anything. However, it is too slow-witted to help people work. It can help them race, though, which is interesting. Ah, here's yet another Pokemon that we do not have. It's the almighty Geodude, probably the original rock type, and it pretty much is just a rock, so people that complain about later generation Pokemon being uninspired, Geodude is a rock. Quite literally. And we caught Geodude. I was afraid it would take more Pokeballs than Onix did, but I think we came in ahead on that one. At rest, it looks just like a rock. See, I told you. Carelessly stepping on it will make it swing its fists angrily. But it's not a fighting type, so you really don't have to worry about any powerful punches, because apparently only fighting types are capable of throwing strong punches in this game. Whoa, that is a Gible, and that is a rare Pokemon, and it is one of the Pokemon I want to get. Really glad it showed up that quickly. The quicker 5% Pokemon show up, the happier everyone will be, especially me, because I'm the one that has to spend the time trying to get a hold of them. So I'm very much appreciating the fact that this thing decided to show up without too much trouble. Aha, we got Gible. Gotta get a Gible. I'm sure whoever came up with that episode title was very, very proud of it. It attacks using its huge mouth. While its attacks are powerful, it hurts itself out of clumsiness too. One thing I don't get about Gible is they had like a random filler episode in Diamond and Pearl centered around Gible, and then another episode in which Ash caught one like 5 episodes later. Not sure what's up with that. Aha, yet another Pokemon that only has a 5% encounter rate. This one is not nearly as awesome as Gible. This is Paris, which is probably one of the original bug types that most people remember. It's not really all that special, and it's not very good. Although I was watching the UK regionals earlier today, and someone was actually using a Parasect. Not entirely sure how that went, though, considering the stream kept on dropping out. Anyway, let's see if we can get a hold of one. Come on, Gible was easier than this. There we go, that wasn't too terrible. Gotcha, Paris was caught. Add that data to our Pokedex. Mushrooms named Tochukaso, hopefully I pronounced that right, grow on its back. They grow along with the host Paris. Yep, this thing's literally a zombie. Ugh, grisly stuff. Alright, only 2 more to be found while walking around. Let's see if we can find them. Ooh, here is one. This is Larvitar. Probably one of my favorite Generation 2 Pokemon. It's just... it evolves into something that's really quite strong, and I like how it sort of avoided the trope of being a dragon type, because a lot of the really strong end-game Pokemon tend to wind up being dragon types, but this one is not, and I really like it. It's actually, eventually, once it evolves, a rock and dark type, which is a relatively interesting combination. Obviously not quite as powerful as dragon, but it definitely has its uses, and I really just like this Pokemon in general. Critical capture comes through again. Larvitar was caught. Very nice. I was afraid that was going to start taking a while, but we pulled through. Born deep underground, it comes above ground and becomes a pupa once it has finished eating the surrounding soil. I believe other Pokedex entries mention that this thing is able of consuming an entire mountain. I think I tripped over like 6 words there. I'm sorry, it's late. I had to record this a lot later than usual. But yeah, I don't know how that thing puts away a mountain. But alright. Aha, last one. I think I might have just bumped my headset there. I apologize for that. This is Clefairy. Now, fun story about Clefairy. In either Black and White or Black and White 2, I don't remember which, I actually caught a shiny Clefairy. What's even crazier about this is that that shiny Clefairy was male, which is like a 1 in 8 chance, I think. And it was also holding a berry of some kind, which brought the percentage down even lower, so it was probably the most insane wild encounter I'd ever had, especially with a shiny Pokemon. I got really lucky with the shinies in Generation 5. If I remember correctly, I believe I caught 3 this generation, which is pretty crazy. What's not crazy, and is in fact quite disappointing, is I haven't caught this thing yet. There we go, caught Clefairy. That was probably about a minute cut, maybe not even that. Not very difficult to catch whatsoever. On nights with a full moon, Clefairy gather from all over and dance. Bathing in moonlight makes them float. Anyone who plays the Johto games, go to Mount Moon Square on a Monday night to see that firsthand. Anyway, that is all the Pokemon that we can get by simply walking around. However, there are a few more Pokemon that we can get only through those dust clouds, so to avoid having to deal with actual random encounters, I'm going to throw up a Super Repel, and I'm going to meet you guys when I find a dust cloud Pokemon. Huh. Aha, here's one. This is Drillbur. It is actually the most common of the Dust Cloud Pokemon that I am looking for, and in general, it's probably the only one you will encounter ever if you're playing a vanilla Generation 5 game. Because Drillbur is just the Dust Cloud Pokemon, that's where it shows up. And we also caught it in one shot, which is very nice. It has a 40% encounter rate in the hack, which means really not surprised we ran into one so quickly. By spinning its body, it can dig straight through the ground at a speed of 30 miles per hour. I'd love to see the physics behind that, seriously. 30 miles per hour? I rather doubt that. I feel like the Pokemon trainers that you play as sensationalize the things they write in the Pokedex when you see stuff like that. Also, this. Repel's effect wore off. Would you like to use another? Don't know why it took like 16 years for that to be added, but I am so glad that Black and White 2 added that feature. It is a lifesaver, especially for situations like this. Aha, here's one Nincada. This took a little bit longer to show up than I would have liked. I found 2 more Onyx before I found this thing, and I'm legitimately afraid I'm going to run out of repels before we locate the last Pokemon. And I really, really don't want that to happen because I don't want to have to go all the way back to buy more. Luckily, it looks like the game's cutting me a break because we caught an Incada first try, which is very nice. Add that to the Pokédex. It grows underground, sensing its surroundings using antennae instead of its virtually blind eyes. One thing I don't get is the Pokédex calls it the trainee Pokemon. Like, what's it training for? Anyway, one more Dust Cloud Pokemon, and, not save, and 5 repels to find it. Wish me luck, guys. This does not bode well. Okay. Alright. We found it. Diglett is the last Pokemon to be found in the dust clouds in the Relic Passage. And oh man, did this thing test me. Let's catch it. Darn straight we caught it in one shot. Oh my word. Can't believe I had to run all the way back to buy more repels. That's ridiculous. A Pokemon that lives underground. Because of its dark habitat, it is repelled by bright sunlight. Which explains why pretty much all of its anime appearances are in broad daylight. Herder, am I right, guys? Anime logic, derp, derp, derp. Okay, we finally got it. Now, let's dig out of here, because this means we're pretty much done with the sewer system, at least until the water comes back, because I think there might be Pokemon that we need to catch in the water, but since it's not available to us right now, I'm not going to worry about it. Alrighty, so let's head back to the Pokemon Center and heal real quick. Now, this is a pretty momentous occasion. With the capture of Diglett, we now officially own 151 different species of Pokemon, which is pretty awesome. Relatively significant number in the history of the franchise. Very much appreciate it. Anyway, this past episode of Pokemon Blaze Black 2, we caught 11 Pokemon. Those being Roggenrola, Geodude, Rhyhorn, Paris, Clefairy, Gible, Larvitar, Drillbur, Onix, Nincada, and Diglett. And that will wrap up all the Pokemon that we can catch in the Relic Passage for right now. Notice how I said for right now. There is another entrance to the cave somewhere else in the Unova region, and through that entrance there are other Pokemon we can get, so we're going to be back in there some point relatively soon. But without further ado, I think we are going to end things off here, and next time on Pokemon Blaze Black 2, we are going to be progressing even further in our search to expand our Pokédex. So without further ado, thank you all for watching, and I will see you guys next time.